Good morning, YouTube. It's Myla Ash page, aka the Emperor of Female Bodybuilding Talk, coming to you live on YouTube. As you know, just recently I saw this wing string from Instagram, and it's posted on their other social media sites. Is that they announced the ambassador brand, where these are for the Wing Strength. These are ladies who represent the Wing Strength at contests and other events. Last year they had an application they sent out to the ladies who want to apply, and you know it's it was something that was set up, and these ladies as I said before, they come together. They often do little the Wing Strength have booths, and they often do a little a little politicking, they talk to people, handshake, take pictures, be there to represent OWS, which is short for Rings of Strength. And most of the ladies from the bodybuilding world, some ladies are competing during that time. Some ladies are off. They take the time off, so they want to do some work. So they, work there. And I think they help some with a little bit of, pay, stuff like that. And it's good representation. And for especially since Wings of Strength is the organization that mostly oversees female bodybuilding. But like I said, female bodybuilding, the contests are still governed by the IFBB, because they still have their judges are the ones who judge the competitions. If Wing Strength could have their own judges, it might be different. But like I said, they're still governed under the IFBB. Anyway, this is the list right here for the Rings of Strength ambassador brand. And some of these ladies are familiar. Some have been ambassadors before, notably. Some are new faces I don't recognize. So I did some research on some of them. And it's just a pretty good list, quite a few ladies here. And, like I said before, some of these ladies have represented Wing of Strength at contests and events. One thing was, one thing is used to be the FIBO. And that's kind of like the all-star game of bodybuilding. It's often done overseas, like in Germany and some parts of Europe. But I think this year, I don't know if they're going to have it, with the whole virus and the going on. And that's a big thing about that. That was one of the best events. And then also, I think March, you're supposed to have the Arnold Schwarzenegger Classic coming up. And, I think last year they had to shut down the whole convention venue part because of the virus, and just had the show. But anyway, the list is set in alphabetical order, and I'm gonna start with the first competitor, first lady ambassador, and that is one Miss Alicia Young. Now Alicia Young. She's been an ambassador for quite some time. Now Alicia last year competed at the Rising Phoenix and got fourth. And her physique is very impressive. It's very popular. And here's the thing about this: anytime I make a video about Alicia Young, I get a lot of likes. I get a lot of views. These guys love Alicia Young. She has a look to her. She has a great body. And I think most of the time the guys are looking at her huge boobs. And that's truthfully, that gets attention a lot of guys. Next up is the new and current Miss Olympia champion, Andrea Shaw. Now, Andrea, she's an amazing person. Her story is amazing. She she started bodybuilding in the early 2000s, took some time off to go back to school and get her master's. And she has an amazing story about her, and she has a great look to her. And the big thing, will she repeat as Miss Olympia this year? So let's keep our fingers crossed. Also, it's Asha Hadley. Now, Miss Hadley, as you know, was a former physique competitor. She last competed back in 2016, and she made her return and debuted as a bodybuilder at the 2020 Savannah Pro. And she's also competed at the Miss Olympia, and she made the top 10, which is pretty good. And I've been a fan of Asha back when she was on physique. She has a great set of abs. I always felt like she was going to make the jump to bodybuilding eventually. She took the 4 years off to really compare and maybe put a little more size to her. And she still, got some developing to go. Also here is Donna Saleeby. Now, Donna Saleeby is from the state of Kentucky, and she's a professional bodybuilder. She just recently posted on her IG that she got a sponsorship. And now with this Wing of Strength ambassador's position, that will also probably help her a little bit. Her husband's a professional wrestler, and she also wrestles with him, and that's pretty cool. I mean, I'm trying to reach out to her a few times about doing some interviews. I'm hoping maybe she get a chance. We might try to do an interview. Maybe talk even about the professional wrestling part of her life. This is here is Erica Dunkova. What we know about her? She is a Slovakian physique competitor. She's young, and I think what now with the thing going on with the whole pandemic, with travel restrictions back and forth in Europe, I think she's going to represent Ring of Strength in the few European shows that be set there. Like the Muscle Fest. I think the supposed to be a show that's supposed to be done in Spain. Like the Europa was last year. They might do another show. Remember, there was supposed to be a show in Lisbon, Portugal, but that was canceled because of the pandemic, and a show in the Czech Republic. So we might see her, representing as a Wings of Strength ambassador at overseas in Europe. Next up here is Heather Munson. Now Heather is a women's bodybuilder. She just turned pro, I think, just recently. She is they call her Phoenix Fire, and she's impressive. Nice physique. I mean, I think she's still got a way to go, and we might see more of her in the future. As you know, Wings Strength also helps most a lot of amateurs, up and comers. If they see that somebody who has the potential, they put they put a little interest behind them. Right here is Miss Helen Davis. Now Miss Davis is from Orange County, California. Now back in 2017, she won the overall in the physique nationals, and now she's making the switch to bodybuilding, and she's pretty impressive. Look at those arms. She got some guns on her, and and she being small, she is. I mean, like I said, this the smaller women seem like they just pack on some great muscle. And also, she's a mother of 3 kids. And that's pretty good. I mean, your mom, you got 3 kids, and you're trying to be a bodybuilder. That's a lot to do. I mean, that's amazing. Right here we have Helen Trevino, the two-time Rising Phoenix champion. She's been in the game for quite some time, and Helen, she's always gonna be around. I think we know she made the top 3 at the Miss Olympia, and she took second place at the Rising Phoenix. There was always talk that Helen was going to win probably win the Miss Olympia, but it was a miss prediction. But she still has a great physique, a great body, and like I think maybe she might get her 3rd Rising Phoenix this year. Now that Andrea Shaw is Miss Olympia, but you never know. Like I said, with things like these ladies not getting much money as they should, don't be surprised if Andrea Shaw also compete at the Rising Phoenix. Also, you have the big Swede herself, Miss Irene Anderson. As you know, Irene made the top 5 at Miss Olympia. She also competed at the Rising Phoenix. What she did for her to do this, she had to do to quarantine in Turkey for about a couple of weeks before she came to the United States. As you know, also Irene has a documentary, Too Big for the World. I'm trying to find a copy of what I had to pay for it. It's hard to find a good copyright for free, but maybe I get lucky. But like I said, Irene's an impressive woman. She's in her mid 50s right now, and just amazingly fit. I think she might compete for maybe a couple more years, and she might maybe put her papers in, but you never know. These ladies are just, as long as you can keep in good conditioning and look in great shape, you can compete as long as you want. Next up here is Janine Lakowsky. Now, I'm a fan of Janine. I follow her on social media. Janine is from the great state of, the great country of Canada, but she lives out of Tampa Bay in Florida. And Janine is considered one of the best posers in the sport of bodybuilding, and she did pretty good about in 2019 when she bounced back after some surgery, and she also was able to make the Olympia last year. But we hoping something she might do a little better. I think she might do the Tampa again, like that's the show because it's close to home, and maybe probably might do a couple other shows. Next up here is Jessica Martin. Now Jessica Martin, about a couple of years ago, made a transition from physique to bodybuilding. She won the Puerto Rico Pro, and she was able to compete at the Rising Phoenix in 2019. Now Jessica has set out most of the 2020 to really make some work on her physique, and this is a picture of her when she's getting a little more size to her. She's pretty impressive, and she's also a mother, and and that's pretty good. There's quite a few women, and like I remember back in 2019, there was quite a few women that were competing in that show. They were mostly mothers. I think they outnumbered the women who were not mothers at that in 2019 show. Here is Julie Fur, if I got her name right. If I'm sorry, if I apologize. She is from Switzerland. She's and there's some pretty impressive women come from Switzerland, like her, and I think she's friends with Jacqueline Fuchs, and she's an impressive body, and I think she's also an actor. I was doing some research about her. She did a movie called Pearl. It's kind of a superhero kind of movie, it looks pretty good. I saw the trailer on it. I might, if I can find a copy of it, I might actually watch it. And being a bodybuilding actor, maybe if somebody was smart, she's attractive, she has a great physique. Maybe you can give her an opportunity to do some movies, especially with the MCU and the DECU. I mean, they can use somebody like this. I mean, especially Wonder Woman and the movies like that and the X-Men and all that. I can see her playing a superhero. Or like this, I have an idea. I'll talk about this later when I get finished with this, but I got an idea I want to share with you with somebody if you're interested in it. Here is Kim Buck. Now, I'm a big fan of Miss Buck. As you know, I did a video about her a while back when her father was going through some issues. I showed my support to her. Kim is a seamstress. She's been in bodybuilding for quite some time. She has competed in quite a few shows. Last she competed was at I think she competed at the New York Pro, and she competed at Savannah. And I think was able to make the Olympia, and I think she's been, she had done at least two Miss Olympias before that, before they dropped it back in 2014. She's been getting quite some time. I think she's like probably one of the most consistent women in the sport, and she has a great physique. As you know, I did a video with her and Vicky Gates sometime. Was it yesterday? And you check that out. So I think she has a great physique, and it's a good opportunity for her to be a representative for the Women's Strength. Here is Christine Mendoza, and I've done a video about Christine Mendoza. Mendoza was a physique competitor. She made the jump to bodybuilding about a couple of years ago. She competed at the 2019 Rising Phoenix, where she and four other ladies represented female bodybuilders announced the return of female bodybuilding to the Olympia weekend. Now, she decided she could only compete at the Savannah show last year, and she decided to take some time off. And she has a great body. One thing about her is her quads. She has some amazing, huge quads. But like I said, she's still in her late 20s. I think she hasn't hit her muscle maturity just yet. But once she will, I think she'll be pretty impressive. And it's great to have some young women in here to keep the sports going. And I think the two things that keeps this sport going is the young blood and the blood from competitors come from Europe and other countries, because that keeps bodybuilding going. We got younger women coming in, competitors from other countries coming in, and that's a good thing. Like I said, she set out the rest of the season to work some stuff, maybe make some improvements, and that's a good thing. She might, I'm not sure she's gonna compete this year. She might see her compete maybe back in 2022. Right here is LaDonna McDay. As you know, LaDonna McDay won the Tampa Bay Pro, which got her a shot at the Miss Olympia. And LaDonna has a pretty impressive physique, and she's a teacher. And with LaDonna, it's hard to find. She is very private. You can't find, she don't have IG, she's not on Facebook, she's not on Twitter. She's very private. She might have an email or something like that. I would love to do an interview with her. If if anybody who knows LaDonna McDay in the bodybuilding community, reach out to her. And you know me. All you got to do is you can follow me on. If any of you follow me on IG, or you can pop on my YouTube channel and just let her know that I'm interested in maybe talking to her about her life and how she got into the sport of bodybuilding. Right here is a lady. She's from Russia, and the thing is, I don't want to say her name. Now, since the list is alphabetical order, you can find her name. She's right after LaDonna. She's been competing for quite some time, I think since the early 2000s. She started out as a figure competitor. She competed in the NABBA, which is like the equivalent of the IFB, like the equivalent of an NPC for the for Europe. It's just for amateurs over there in Europe. And she has a pretty effective physique. And if I look at her, she makes nutrition and bodybuilding. If I look at her like this, she kind of reminds me of Christina Mendoza. Just by her, look her face, and you look at her, she kind of does. Like, this is what, if Christina gets her body to muscle maturity, this is what she would look like. And I think this is why you see a lot more of these Russian competitors coming in because there's some great muscle wrestler, but there's also that little thing about back in 2016 when the Russians were disqualified competing because of steroids. I know you got Amazonica, Natalia Kovaleva. There's also Anastasia Kovalova. There's a lot of Russian women competing right now, and I think they're going to represent ring strength in Eastern Central Europe, because that's where the need faces there because with the pandemic and traveling being not as sparse as it should be. Here is Myla Ash. As you know, Myla made the transition to physique just recently. She competed at a national show, and then she was told by judges to make this jump to bodybuilding. And then she competed at the New York Pro, where they brought the return of female bodybuilding. As you know, New York Pro was the contest that was ran by the Francis, Bev Francis, her husband Steve. And she's pretty fit physique. She was able to make the top 5 at this year's Miss Olympia. She has small waist, wide shoulders. She might need to put a little more size if you're going to build up the big girls like Margie and Hella and Andrea. But she's got a look to her. I mean, I even rushed her about trying to do an interview too, but she never responds. So here you go. Right here we have Muna Porcel. Now Muna is lives in Canada, and she is of she's from Iraq. No, she's from Iran, but many Iranians that left them call themselves Persians, and that was originally what Iran was. It was called Persia, and she has a great physique. Very impressive. She competed at the Muscle Fest. She was one of the only few non-European competitors. Even though technically Canada is part of the EU, being the fact um, it's a principality of Great Britain, but it's more like she's from North America, and she represented North America in a way when she went to Muscle Fest because there was a lot of no American competitors at that show. It was a pure European show, and I think she did pretty good. I think she got in the top 10, and she's got a great physique. She's made best poser along with Christina Mendoza when it was representatives at the Olympia back in 2019 at the Olympia weekend. And I think there's a good chance. I mean, she gets some size on her. When right now Canada where it is right now, they're very strict. I think we're not going to have no Toronto Pro this year like we did last year. They might can do this. They could probably move it to maybe Minnesota and call it Toronto Pro, like how they moved the Chicago Pro to Atlanta, or how they moved the New York Pro to Tampa. So why not do that? Move the Toronto show to some place like Minnesota or Michigan or someplace. Let's be fair. Yeah. Maybe not be in Canada, but hey, you can still call it the name of the show. Anyway, we have here Miss Monique Jones. And I'm a big fan of Miss Jones. She is a impressive female bodybuilder. She lives right next door to me in the state of South Carolina. Monique is a trainer, a teacher. She helps prep and coach other competitors. She's also a mother. She has a daughter. She's very proud of her daughter. She posts her on her IG. She has a great physique, great body. I did a video with her versus Lisa Lewis and the Amazons, and Monique is an Amazon. And I did a video where she should have won the most muscular at the Rising Phoenix. She should have won it. I mean, even though they gave it to Andrea because that's the person they wanted, but to me, Monique was the most muscular. I just recently sent out an email to her about doing an interview. I'm crossing my fingers. I hope she responds. I know she probably gets dozens of emails, but maybe she'll pay attention to mine. But I have a great admire for her. Here is Natalia Kovaleva. I think she's one of the other Natalias. She's another Russian bodybuilder. She was supposed to compete at the Rising Phoenix last year, but she decided to sit out the season. She's pretty impressive. She has a look to her style. This picture here, I remember her hair like that. She did a photo set with Alicia Young about a couple years back. And like I said, a lot of these Russian bodybuilders are getting very popular. They come over here, they're doing pretty well. And she lives here in the United States. I think she lives in Vegas, but more likely she's been an ambassador. She's been ambassador last year's ambassador. She's still an ambassador. I think they like her because of her look and her popularity, and they're trying to get into that Russian market, which is very popular. Right here is Nikki Chartrand. Nikki is a former physique competitor. She's been competing quite some couple of years from now as a bodybuilder. Nikki this year, last year she made the Olympia. She didn't make. I don't think Nikki made the top 10. Did she? No, I think she made the top 10. She's from Canada also, but she lives in Vegas. And she's very. She won a couple of shows. She won the Hawaiian Pro, which was a show that was replaced the Puerto Rico Pro, and back in 2017, that's when Maria hit Puerto Rico, so it was just a mess. But she won a big show and was able to compete at the Rise of Phoenix. Now here is Pauline. I hate that what Pauline Nelson. I'm sorry, and Pauline is from New York, and Pauline is right now. She hadn't competed since I think back in 2019. She mostly is a staple at the Tampa Bay. She does the Tampa Bay quite a few often. She placed second, I think. She placed the top three the last couple of years, and was able to make the Rising Phoenix. And I think she's a pretty impressive competitor. And I'm a big fan of her. And I like her story. Like she said, she went through a lot, and she's a mother of two kids. Like I said, she's pretty impressive. Right? Like I said, I did a video with her and who was it? I forgot who was it. Pauline, and who was it with Pauline? I forgot. You all gotta do if you follow me, subscribe. You can look back. You can find who it was. Now, next up here is Robin Triple D Hillis. And, this is an impressive young woman. She's been in bodybuilding quite some time. She's from Canada also. And like so many bodybuilders out of Canada, they can't get the gyms, depending on where they stay at, no shows. She's been sitting off, most of this trying to, keep herself together. She's a PO, which means she's a not a PO, she's a CO, she's a correction officer. She's also a mother of two daughters, and she's also a grandmother of three. She's a GMA. And it's surprising. She is. There's quite a few female bodybuilders who are grandmothers. Mothers and grandmothers. She's pretty impressive. She's like about. I think Robin's about 5'10", 5'11". She's pretty tall. She's a big woman. She competed at the Muscle Fest, and the Muscle Fest is a great show for a lot of women who are big. The Muscle Fest is mostly a show for pure muscle women. That's a great show. I mean, Monique won it back in 2019. Muna, she won it, and I think that show also Amazonica, she won her amateur at the 2019 and won and placed second at the 2020 show. She placed second at the 20. She won amateur 2018 and placed second in 2019 show. That's a correction. But like I said, she's right now just sitting down waiting. She's hoping she might get some shows, or maybe once the restrictions relax around Canada, she might compete here in the States. Here is Sheena Oleg, and Miss Oleg, she is a physique competitor, but I think she decided to make the jump to female bodybuilding. Now she competed a couple of shows this year. She competed at the Chicago Pro. I think she also competed at Tampa, and she also competed at the Rising Phoenix. I started following her on IG a while back when I saw a video of her walking out of one of those what's that the sauna, not the sauna, what is the hot tub, something like she was at the Arizona show where she competed, and she was in the they had the hot tub right beside the pool, and she was in there and she walked out of it. Oh my God! Yeah, I mean, I just like I said, how much I love black women, great muscle. She has a great physique. And like I say, she's a coach. She coaches. I mean, I might reach out to her about doing an interview also. Next up here is Schneek Narwin. Now, she is from Singapore. And I think the reason why they pick her because, right now there's a growing market overseas, and especially in the in Southeast Asia and, around like the Philippines, you got Hong Kong, you have Thailand. There's a growing number of women bodybuilders and physique and fitness competitors coming out of and competing from those part of the world. And she competed at the 2019 Vancouver Pro Am. I remember seeing her because that was the year when Sheila Bleck made the jump to physique, and she was at the show. I think she won that show or made top two. I can't remember, but she has a impressive physique. So I think she's going to be a representative for William Strength over in Asia, around the Southeast Asia, around the Asian market, because that's what we need. William Strength is trying to grow across the world, not just be in America, but also other markets. And like I said, like if UFC has a growing market, you have fighters like Wei Li Zhang and Jiang Jinan representing China. And over here we have Olivia Bay, who's from China, and she's been doing pretty good, winning Chicago Pro and making the Olympia. But Shanique, Shika, we might see more once some of the things settle. And there's also another bodybuilder from Philippines I'd like to see compete sometime soon here in America. Here we have Salva Maddi. Now, Salva Mate, no, not actually Salva Mate, sorry. She's from Italy. Now, Salva has won the Best Video award at the Rising Phoenix twice. And she's also archaeologist. And she's a mother of a young girl. She has a great physique. She can compete this year because of how things are going so bad in Italy, in Europe, And I think she decided to sit out the season and maybe work on a little few things. But we might see her maybe if things go right and they get the show set up overseas. We might see her compete. And I said again, she'll probably be over there in Europe representing Wings Strength at some shows and in some venues. And right here is one Miss Susana Jacobs. Now Miss Jacobs made her pro debut back in I think it was 2018. She won her in a weight division. I think she won as a heavyweight or as a middleweight at the Chicago Pro and at the Miss International. Then she competed at the Chicago Pro. And if you win the overall in the Miss International, it's automatic buy to the Rising Phoenix. And also about her, she's an impressive physique. She's a wife and a mother. And that's the thing that's the thing about being a female bodybuilder, also having a family and competing. That's the thing. That's you're balancing a lot of things. I mean, a wife, mother, a bodybuilding, diet, and care and kids. And she's been kind of absent from the scene for quite some bit, but we get to see her come back in the show. She might compete in some show. Maybe she might do Chicago, or maybe she might do the Norfolk show, depending on which show best fits her. Here we have Tina S. Williams. Now, Miss Williams has been a bachelor before. I'm a big fan of Tina S. Williams. Why I like her? She has that look to her, And and I call her. As you know, I've been trying to reach out to Melody Specco about the interview. She was trained by Melody Specco, and I call her Melody's twin. She looks kind of like right about the eyes and the face. She kind of looks like Melody Specco. Now she's from Kansas. I think and she also she's married to a bodybuilder by the name of Mr. Big Keith Williams, and she's a mother herself. She has a young daughter, and like I said, the thing is, bodybuilding, like I said before, is a selfish lifestyle and it's a selfish kind of thing. But to be able to love both a man and take care of a child and to do this sport, she's an amazing person. I support her. I've been reaching out to her a few times. I'm hoping maybe she get a chance. We might do an interview, but things up in there. It's all up about this, And last and not least, one of my favorite ladies. I've been a fan of this lady since she hit the game almost nearly 10 years ago. I mean, this is one of the most amazing women. Great body, great physique. I've done videos about her. I've talked about her. I have often chatted with her on social media. She is one of the amazing ladies. She just won the last year's Romania Muscle Fest. She deserved it. She placed second. No, she placed third. No, she placed fifth at the European Championships, where I feel like I was kind of dirty. But like I said, you know how it is. It is what it is. But she's amazing. This is more Miss Virginia Sanchez, and I'm just a fan of hers. I just love her body. Great muscle, just great development, and she deserved winning the Muscle Fest, because the Muscle Fest is really truly catered to female bodybuilders, not women switching from physique to bodybuilding. Pure female bodybuilders. You come in sport as a bodybuilder. Like you said, she's one of two women back in 2013, her and Lisa Cross, who were the last set of women to come from Europe via the All Schwarzenegger amateur show to, compete as pros. As you know, as you remember back in 2019, the NPC decided to drop doing shows for female bodybuilders in Europe. And she's amazing physique, great body. I always, love her physique. She's one of the few women I will say that has not been in need of silicone, but she has not gotten tattoos, you notice. And no kidding at that. But like I said, I'm a big fan of hers. She was going to supposed to be doing the Rising Phoenix, but because she has a son in Spain, she didn't want to leave him behind. The cost of quarantine is too much, so she decided to skip the Rising Phoenix. But she's going to be competing at the Olympia, so I think she's going to focus on her physique for the Olympia, and that's a good thing. I'm a big fan of Virginia Sanchez. I just love her physique. I just love her body. I know I sound like a drooling perv, but yes, I am. So anyway, this is just a video where I was just announcing the ladies who will be ambassadors representing the Wings of Strength. I will post the Wings of Strength in link in my in the description if you want to check out the ladies and the information. Also, like I said, if you have some favorites you like, just let me know. I mean, there's some great ladies. Some ladies I know, some ladies I don't know. Some ladies who have promise and ladies who have done so much for the sport over the years. And like I said, I love Rings of Strength. I'd like to thank Jake Wood, his wife Crystal, his ex-wife Crystal. They was the ones who saved female bodybuilding back in 2015 when they created the Rising Phoenix. And they promote a lot of female bodybuilding. I'd like to do an interview with Jake. I most likely do. I know he's a busy man. He got a lot of stuff to do. I'd like to talk to him and, get his opinion about the sport. And also the review about him hey, let's talk about the pay disbursement. How these ladies need to make some money. I mean, $4,000 a show or $3,000 a show is not much. Maybe I would say $6,000. I know they don't get a lot, and sponsorship is hard to get, especially for a bodybuilder because it's not considered a mainstream sport. But it's a sport still. It seems more as pageant in a way compared to the other sports like baseball, football, basketball, boxing. But it's still a sport. And these ladies, even though they don't make money out of this as much as they do, they are committed to it, and they do it for the joy of it. They do it for the competitive sport of it. And I like to do, like I said, I want to do more support for them and do whatever I can to help them out, in the future. That's why I do videos like this. It's your man, all the rage, George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Bodybuilding Talk. Like, don't subscribe, don't subscribe. I'm out.